Hello, comic book readers, and welcome to another episode of Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
I'm Tiffany.
This is one of the longest running shows under our ComicPop umbrella, and I am proud to have kept this show going, thanks largely in part to you maintaining the show and allowing it to continue because, the boys moved.
That's right. I get Cheez-Its.
And that's right. You deserve Cheez-Its. You deserve more than Cheez-Its, let me tell you that. But we can only afford Cheez-Its, and you buy them, so thank you for that as well. But yeah, so we talk about comic books on this show. We, of course, review them. We tell you what we thought about them. We recommend comics that are coming out this week that we think you should check out. And we pick out our book of the week. We also talk about comic book news. Last week I said there was no news. There actually was news. It just slipped my mind. I didn't talk about it.
You were so mad about the internet here.
I was furious.
Really
It's so frustrating when you have like what is essentially, and I hesitate to use the term again because I just said it, but an essential service. The internet is something that I pay monthly to have reliably, and it was not reliable. And in fact, it was a disaster. I had to record this test show for the show that is now on ComicPop Returns.
Yeah,
you can
that
see
was
it.
the other thing. You were like, you had just come off of that, so you were in a mood. So.
I was not thrilled. Let's put it that way.
I had to cram behind my desk, which
yeah.
is not enough.
No, but it's such a good looking set. I love the living space you cultivated. I mean, it's literally where you work and live.
Yeah, it's where I just hang out.
Yeah, that's your space.
Yes, but it's like there's not a lot of space back there. It's really a one-person area.
It really is. I mean, it's designed to be a one-person area,
is.
so I understand. But yeah, so the news that was fit to print last week, Diamond Distributors filed for bankruptcy. That was the big thing. And people were like, what does this mean? And I'm like, I mean, it probably means they're going to restructure and they're going to get some money and they're going to try to find some new method of existing.
Bankruptcy doesn't
mean they close.
When I learned I barely know anything about finances. Let's be honest. I'm not going to pretend. But finding that out, I was like, oh, okay. Bankruptcy doesn't mean what I think it means.
Right. But when people say, oh no, we're going to be bankrupt. That is,
that is a no-no for a human, a person.
You don't want that.
You don't want that.
I mean, you want to avoid that kind of pitfall, but it doesn't necessarily mean doors closing kind of thing. In fact, the bigger the corporation, bankruptcy might mean your heads of state might make more money or at least get a nice big windfall. But yes, when it comes to Diamond, they did file for bankruptcy. They needed to be restructured. More and more publishers are jumping ship from Diamond for the last several years. And I mean, on one hand, nothing lasts forever. On the other, again, it doesn't mean the Diamond is closing forever. But, with more and more small press leaving Diamond and finding alternatives.
Yeah.
But then it's funny because this could be a very interesting wake-up call for Diamond. And they could be like a bastion for the small press
right
now. They could be the guys that publish, smaller press outlets. I don't see that happening, but it could be an alternative for them. And I could see them becoming a toy distributor because there's a lot of Diamond collectibles that you can get from them as well.
Absolutely.
I could see them being a publisher in their own right. They have a lot of knowledge in the industry. I mean, I'm actually a little bit surprised, and I think it's only because of the lack of funds and the the marketplace when Wizard closed. Why Wizard didn't pivot, to being a publisher, a book publisher. I mean, they were already a magazine publisher. Why not switch to comics?
Right.
I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't do that. Just a thought that occurred to me now.
Well, you have to create a time machine.
Yeah, they wouldn't have listened to me.
Go back in time.
Yeah. And then start a website
that
would be literally Wizard magazine, but on the internet.
Yeah, do that.
And then maybe, CBR wouldn't exist. But no, they would. I don't know about Wizard, but still. Yeah, this show is sponsored by viewers like you. If you're watching the show live, you can sponsor today's show by using Super Chats, ask a question or comment, read it here on the show. It'll be part of the show forever. Today, Monday, the 27th of January, is the final order cutoff. The last day that you can pre-order the fifth episode or the fifth issue of Terminator from Dynamite. Why is this important? Why would I be hawking for Terminator? Well, two reasons. One, I love Terminator. I bleed oil. I am a huge Terminator fan.
Yes, you are.
My Terminator is actually missing. He fell, so I had to move him. But normally there's a Terminator on the set. I have worked with my incredible collaborator, Colin Craker, for the last 4 issues now, releasing the 10-page story backup entitled Buried Alive. It has been in the back of the first 4 issues of Terminator and will be in the last issue, the issue 5, not the last issue of Terminator, but our last issue of Terminator. Colin will continue to color for that series, but I am no longer providing backups after issue 5.
And that's a pity for them.
It is. It's a shame.
That's
It's a loss for them.
That's a loss.
Yes, and
that's a loss.
Are there ideas? Absolutely. Have there been pitches? More than 2 dozen. Have I received any feedback about them? No. But will we?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Let's
maintain our positivity, and let's hope that the audience that helped support this book and kept it going might help legitimize our little operation.
I'm thrilled no matter what.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for people to be able to not only have the collected story and look over it all together, but one day see it printed all in one book in the back.
Right.
That'd be great.
I have heard that the trade paperback is already available for pre-order, though I have not seen anything.
Okay.
But I promise when it is, or when I am aware of it, I will definitely be hawking it because it will be in the trade, or at least I have assurances that it'll be in the trade.
Can't
and
wait.
If it is, we'll be selling the shit.
Can't wait.
Because then you'll read all 10 pages in a row. But yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
I want to thank the audience for being so supportive and showing up every month to support that book. And so thank you. But yeah, so talking about books today.
Let's do it.
Let's do that. Let's do exactly that. So Joshua Williamson's Superman story has continued as we would have expected. I need to be able to read the creative team.
You can use that.
I know.
Oh, it's just alphabetical order.
No, okay. Well, in any case,
oh my gosh.
Joshua Williamson and Dan Mora are here to give us this dope. Oh, whoa. Sorry, I heard a noise and it sounded like a door, but it was actually just the heat kicking on.
The heat kicked on.
Yeah. Nope.
There it is.
There it is. Superman number 22 from Joshua Williamson and Dan Mora continues the Superwoman story that also features Doomsday. Man, this issue has a lot of, did you remember that? But not in a Jed McKay way, in a authentic DC kind of way. Yeah, so the Radiant returned, and his race of people have become a kind of like anti-Doomsday cult that dresses like Doomsday's neat green suit that he barely wore for 2 or 3 issues.
Right.
And seek to find other decimated groups of people who have been ruined by Doomsday and collectively find and destroy Doomsday. And Superman's like, you can't do that because if you kill him, he comes back stronger. We have him in a kind of like Black Mercy coma. That's kind of our way of dealing with it right now. And they're like, well, listen, give us Doomsday or we'll destroy your city or the world or something. And he's like, that's not fair. There's actually a really great interview sequence where they're talking to the leader, which is the Radiant. The Radiant, by the way, if you're not familiar, if you've ever read Dan Jurgens' Superman Doomsday Hunter Prey story from 1994, I believe, that features basically like the first character to defeat Doomsday. And it's essentially just a blank silhouette filled with like bright white light. And the Radiant was killed by Doomsday when he was resurrected to fight Doomsday again in Hunter Prey, and now he's here and he's upset, justifiably so. But anyway, Superman and Lois like interview him, and Lois like uses her journalistic background to realize that like they're going to use Doomsday as a weapon. There's no way that we can trust these people. And so it becomes this kind of war until inevitably Superwoman Lois Lane is faced with an impossible choice and meets up with future Doomsday, aka the Time Trapper, who offers her, the opportunity to save Jimmy Olsen's life. Fun story, good book. I really like Superman. I hope it continues.
This character looks like, I hope he has some staying power.
It's true. Yeah, Superman is an interesting guy. What if they made a movie about that character? But
that'd be interesting.
Pipe dream. There's no way that character could have the kind of legs. I understand though, but your idea.
Yeah, I'm an idealist.
You are an idea person and an idealist. So yes, but yeah, I dug it. It was a good book. It's fun. Dan Mora elevates the series, to new heights. But I enjoy the series.
Excellent.
And I think it belongs as part of the Summer of Superman.
The Summer of Superman. It's just a funny thing to call it. I don't know why.
It is. No, it is.
It's just, it humors me. It amuses me.
It amuses you.
I'm amused. I guess I'll go for one.
Yeah, why not?
Because why not? Why not? I have to talk about this.
It needs to be discussed.
This has to be talked about. What I did the wrong one. I'm gonna get used to it. I was in control last time.
Yeah.
I was in my environment.
Yes.
We got to talk about Kid Venom by Taigami, and the fact that this book was like a blur. I don't know if anyone else feels like this. This book feels like stuff happened, but I don't know necessarily. Like I get the base plot. We got a baby. We got to get it out of here. It's got to go back to where it came from. Cool.
Okay.
And that's really where we are.
That's
right?
the whole book.
That's what the point of this seems to be, right? And it's like, but also like, hey, check out like some Marvel characters like in this other lore, like taking like an actual mythological character from Japanese lore and then like making that work with Doctor Strange. Neat, all cool. I like this, right?
I agree.
think I need to sit down, read the origin story that I completely did not know existed. Oops. And read this as a whole to really understand what it is. It's not super long. It's 4 issues, right? What doesn't help is there are also like some severe gaps in time between it coming out.
Makes sense.
Oops. But y'all, we got to talk about how this ended and where I maybe if I read the origins part of it, I would be less surprised.
Yeah.
But the shock and awe was real of the last page of this book.
Yeah.
Like
I'm really
in a
excited to
way
hear
that
about
I
it.
was like, I was going to tell Sal about it, and I was like, I'll tell you about Sal about it on the show, right? Because we got, it's an anime manga. We got character death. It's drama. It's this. It's that. Like, oh my gosh! But then like the baby goes, and it's like, where did the baby go?
Right. What are they going to do with that spider baby?
Right. Where is that spider baby going to go?
Oh no. Okay. I did not know that Mayday was back.
I don't normally like
spoil
things, but like nobody was reading this book.
Yeah.
Nobody's reading this
but
book.
Nobody's reading Kid Venom, so it doesn't matter.
So that was
maybe this will help people sell copies.
Right. That was that. What?
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Why did you kidnap my baby brother?
Interesting. So I guess Kid Venom is Benji.
No. Kid Venom is, I think, this kid.
Yeah, that's...
No.
She said, who are you, little symbiote? Is the symbiote a person, or is it around or does it have a baby?
The symbiote is a person. The symbiote was carrying...
Oh, it carries a baby.
Yeah,
okay,
the baby that we needed to get back.
Oh, okay, all right.
But also gave us one of those, like, the end kind of things.
Oh, yeah.
I was like...
Because, they're just like, I don't know, could you...
Do you have another
more,
one?
please?
Like, is there another one?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was like, I was thrown.
Oh, yeah.
I was thrown for sure. I just did not see this coming. I just did not see this coming whatsoever.
Well, who would have? I mean, you're reading Kid Venom, and then suddenly, like, this fan favorite character shows up.
We go to Earth 982, and there she is.
Yeah, I love that.
So,
that's great. Good use of that character, or at least it's a fun reveal.
Now, now I feel like I have to go back and read the origin. Like, was there like something in there?
Yeah, that would
about this,
justify this,
or was it just like, does Taigami like have this thing where it's like, I love Mayday Parker, so I can't make the whole story about that. But,
right, they did not greenlight that,
but
they did let me put her on the last page.
Yes.
of like probably the last series.
Yeah, so that was Kid Venom. The end of this. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. They love a good question mark at the end.
Marvel sure loves that.
I would show you it, but I can't see the bottom of the page for some reason. Oh, there it is.
Yep.
And is it?
Probably not.
Could it be?
I mean,
don't know.
This book inexplicably pops up sometimes, and it's like, okay, more Kid Venom. All right.
I know. I don't know, but like, I definitely, I would probably read a little bit more because it's a little crazy.
Yeah,
and that's really what it is.
You enjoyed this series from the jump.
I did. I like the idea of like stretching my reading muscles in terms of like reading something that my brain knows should be, Western, but it's told in like a more of an Eastern style. I'm like, that's really, really cool. But like I said, the pacing on this book was a little weird. Sometimes it was like breakneck, and I would be like, I don't know what's happening.
Right.
Like, I know for the most part, but like I feel like there's some subtlety here I'm unaware of. But yes, this is over for now.
For now. It's funny now I'm looking at the cover. I mean, like, there she is. Like, that's her costume.
Yeah, I didn't see that though. Like, when you buy it in Comixology, like the thumbnail's not super big. You just buy the book. Okay, moving on. Like, literally, that's my shopping experience 9 times out of 10. It's just that. Didn't even notice it.
Yeah.
Did not even notice it.
Yeah.
Seems so obvious now that you said that.
I didn't even think about it. I just like, oh my god, that's the Scarlet Spider suit, because it could be Mayday, it could be Ben. You don't know.
Okay, this comment in the chat about finding ComicPop Returns from Instagram story freaking makes me happy.
Wow.
So, did you do one today?
Did I
Yes.
today? No.
Oh, maybe it was me then. I don't know.
Yours.
I don't care. I love that. So welcome and thank you for doing that. Thank you for making the jump from IG.
Yeah.
Over to
No,
here.
thank you. Thank you so
So,
much. Damn it. Now I have to keep my Instagram account. All right. But yeah, man. So I read Wonder Woman number 17. This is from Tom King and Daniel Sampere, continuing the Wonder Woman story, dealing with the Sovereign, Wonder Woman and the Wonder Women just taking down the Sovereign. Really, it's mostly just the Wonder Women taking down Sovereign and Diana raising Lizzie. That's kind of what's going on here.
Okay.
If you hadn't already seen it on ComicPop Prime, we just covered the first volume, Wonder Woman Outlaw from Tom King and Daniel Sampere. The boys loved it. We had a great time. We had some fun. Some people, newcomers to the channel, were confused by the format of the show and assumed because we were flippant about the subject matter that we hated it. And I was like, no, then that shows you didn't stick around because we were a big fan of the show. Or of the
I think what happens a lot of times is that like there is a very distinct East Coast mentality about like ribbing and sarcasm and stuff like that, which we think is universal, but is not.
No, it's just straight up isn't.
And so sometimes I think that is a struggle for some fans who may not be of like comics
from around here,
who are not from the East Coast, where it's just like for us, we're very used to it.
Yes,
like you go into like your favorite, you know, Italian deli, just pizzeria, wherever, right? And like if you know the person there well enough, you might get that, right? Like you might get a bit of sarcasm thrown at you.
Yes,
and they don't like you. In fact, it means they like you quite a bit.
That's true.
But it's I understand that. I understand folks from other areas being like, this sounds like you're being mean because sarcasm.
Right.
It's a currency.
An art. But
it's a language up here.
It's true. But this issue was great. You know, the girls took care of more of the Sovereign's problems. We see King isn't done using Diana's rogues that he immediately used in Wonder Woman Outlaw. Like they're still on retainer for the Sovereign. They battle the Wonder Women, and it's a lot of fun. Just it's an action-packed issue. It has everything to do with the plot. You're wondering, did Absolute Power kind of derail the series? Big time. But are we back? Yes. So if you are a fan of this already, you're going to love this. If you're not a fan of this series, or if you didn't like any of the characterization, voices, etc., you're still not going to like this. So don't worry about it. But I'm still digging it. I'm still checking it out.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I liked Wonder Woman.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What about you?
I kind of fell off of that.
That's fair.
Like Absolute hit, and then like I just didn't go back.
Well, that's fair.
And then I felt bad because I once I get over a certain number of issues I've missed.
Yeah.
It literally becomes like a oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. It's the pile. The
pile is scary.
And it is daunting. And it's actually why a lot of comic book retailers have so much issues, no pun intended, with selling their pull lists.
Okay.
Where people will be like, I didn't make it this month, or I didn't make it in 2 months.
Yeah.
And now I suddenly owe like $300, $400.
Yes.
And it's like, I'm sure that your comic book retailer, if they have a pull list for you and it is getting heavy, the first thing you need to do is just like contact them, apologize, and try to work out some kind of a plan. Go, hey, listen, can we work out some kind of payment plan? Do I have to pay you right away? Something to kind of pare it down or make it more reasonable. But ditching that list and just leaving them in a lurch, not cool. Don't do that. They're already a struggling business because they're selling comics.
Right.
But yeah, just a quick aside. I don't mean to.
Oh no, absolutely. Why don't you do another one?
All right, fine. I'll do another one. I also read Wolverine Revenge, number 4.
I thought you were not reading that anymore.
Of course, I got to read it. I got to see how this goes.
Okay.
Greg Capullo and Jonathan Hickman. I don't believe he's writing this. I don't believe he's writing this.
Okay.
There's nothing to say about this in terms of writing. There is none. There is no writing for this book. Like, things happen and Greg draws it. And the reason to buy it is because of what you see on the cover. Because Greg Capullo drawing Wolverine is awesome. It's undisputedly cool, and it always has been, always will be. There's every reason to read this because you want to see Wolverine stab people with his adamantium claws. If you've been like kind of itching to see Wolverine stab someone or many ones with his adamantium ones, then you should buy this series. The Red Band thing is really the reason why I want to talk about this. Because
okay.
I didn't read the Red Band version. I read the regular version.
Why? Wait, no, that's silly on your part.
No.
Okay.
Well, because That's the real version.
Right.
Is the regular face front version.
But admittedly, hear me out on this one. I do want to hear your point.
Yeah.
But like, if you're reading this book, reading in quotes, this book to look at Wolverine stab people with 6
you
knives
gotta buy the
that
R-rated
come out of his
version.
hands, then like you're clearly in it for the art.
Yeah.
And so where you're going to see more heavy art is in that, as
Yeah.
opposed to in the regular version, which is not going to have that.
That's
so
right.
Like, that's
right.
actually.
But my question is,
Sure,
is this red band thing stupid? Like, I think I'm on the side of yes. Like, I think that, and here's the thing, Wolverine Revenge, this series, I think, would sell itself regardless, and does. I think the only reason people are buying it is because you see Hickman and Capullo. I think if it just said Greg Capullo, no Hickman, book would sell exactly as many copies, except for issue 1. Of course, issue 1 definitely sold more because Hickman's name was on it. Because you got Hickman people going, whoa, what's this? Like, you know what I mean? But outside of that, I mean, if it was just Greg Capullo's solo series, like Frank Cho's Wolverine Revenge, I think that's what it was called. I don't remember what Savage. Remember that one?
yeah.
You love that book.
I didn't say I love that book. I've read that book.
You're gonna cover that on Back Issues one day.
Why who wants that?
Let us know in the comments down below or chat. Do you want to see Tiffany talk about Wolverine Savage?
I've read that twice, and
from Frank Cho,
and I don't remember enough of it.
But yeah,
but I've read it twice.
My thing is, if you're already selling a Greg Capullo book because of the art, and you want to make a red band Wolverine book, or one of the stipulations, and this is all conjecture, is that like Greg's like, I want to draw it like hardcore. I want an R-rated Wolverine book. Just put out the goddamn R-rated book. There's 2 ways about it. Is for the birds. There's no children who are like, oh man, I hope one day I'm old enough to buy the red band version. That's not a real thing. Like, just sell me the R-rated version of this.
I do.
And because it makes me feel, and I don't mean to step on your line, but like, it makes me feel like you're selling me you are selling me a neutered version, but it feels like you're selling me like a trimmed down, overly edited book. You know, like if I buy Wolverine Revenge #1, I don't know about the R-rated thing. You know, you're selling me less book. Essentially, you're selling me less book. You know, with less art in it, presumably. At least that's my feeling on it.
Sure.
So I think this red band thing, it's like I applaud Marvel for even doing a red band anything.
Yeah.
Much less multiple red band things. The Blood Hunt thing was obviously their biggest test of that, because it was like an event and there were 2 versions, and one of those versions was R-rated, and it was for a massive Marvel, event with a lot of marketing behind it, to the point where they folded it into Marvel Rivals.
Right.
But like, I'm feeling like if that was the test,
yeah,
then this is the proof.
Yeah.
Like, then just make me an R-rated book is my point.
I understand what you're saying. I think it's 2 things. I think one, yeah, it's like the new variant.
Yeah,
it's from Marvel as red band. It's like the new variant.
It is a variant thing.
It's an opportunity for them to sell 2 books, maybe, or to get like people to chase down one or the other. But I do think it's also like a safety net for them. I mean, like, I'm sure, I don't know that the Black Label, like,
can you imagine?
Batman like thing like is still like such a hot topic conversation within the offices.
No way.
But I could imagine them being like cautious at times when doing things that seem more adult, so they don't get slapped down. And this is a way for them to be a little bulletproof, where they're like, well, you don't have to buy this one.
Right, but you are still making it available. I mean, can you imagine if DC had made a Black Label book and then being like, oh, but here's the PG-13 or the PG version of the Black Label book.
Yeah.
How we would have cried foul. We would call that censorship. We would have been like, that's gross and terrible what you're doing.
Yeah.
And is it because Black Label tends to be haughtier, and so it's about the subject matter and the art, and Wolverine Revenge is just popcorn candy? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Really,
Why is there a difference?
I think because on the one hand, when you do the red band, you open the door that says you may do more violence.
Yeah.
And when you do that with Black Label, you're saying you cannot show that.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference. It's the way in which it's presented.
How are they going to collect this? Are we getting 2 different versions? Or are we getting one version with 2 different pages? I mean, how are they going to continue
How they
this?
collect Blood Hunt?
I don't know.
Well, there's your answer.
Yeah. But all the outside of the story aside, this sucks. Like, oh,
Okay.
it's Wolverine in the future, and he's got a beard, and he's old, and a little pocket of people. I've read this already. You know, Greg, you wanted to do Old Man Logan again. You should have just called the damn book Old Man Logan again. You know, and just continued it with the Hulk baby.
But Wolverine Revenge is a sexier hook.
I think Old Man Logan 2.
Old Man Logan Revenge.
Yeah, Old Man Logan Revenge. That I would read.
Old Man
Logan. That I would buy. Old Manigan. But yeah, I it's the same with Hush 2. You know, where like Hattush is there, like that's not Hush 2. There have been multiple Hush stories since Hush. To call it Hush 2 is disingenuous. But anyway, he's old, and you know, he's kind of like, I'm done. But then it turns out that like he's not, and he's actually gonna like, he goes and visits Sabretooth every year on his birthday or something. The same way that Sabretooth used to visit Wolverine, and you know, he's got like Sabretooth kind of like shoved in a Professor X floating chair to keep him like, you know, taken care of. And then it turns out that Sabretooth has been manipulating things behind the scenes, and he's got like the offspring of the people who Wolverine killed throughout the series who are going to go kill Wolverine now. And then they immediately attack. Like, it's like, okay, then what happens? Like, you know, next issue. No, then they all just attack him, and then he kills them. And then there's only one guy left, and it's Colossus's son. And I'm like, enough.
Man, someone hates Colossus over there.
Somebody, like some editor over there is like, just for the next 10 years, 15 years, I want Colossus just to be dragged. That said, I don't know. I loved Colossus. I loved the look of Colossus. I love the design.
Yeah.
But like, it's not like, I don't know. What are you trying to do? You know, like, oh no, another metal guy. You know, it's not like it's not like it's like, oh no, like another design for Omega Red. He's so complicated and interesting looking. New design means like something more complicated. It's just here's a smaller Colossus. I don't, and that was their like dun 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 last page reveal to be concluded, is that Wolverine's gonna fight Colossus's son.
Oh,
okay. Like, that's really lame. That's really lame. This book is very lame compared to what it promised to be, which was Greg Capullo's triumphant return to Marvel Comics, which raises another question that I'd like to pose to you.
Okay.
Is the superstar artist done?
No. You literally have Dan Mora right now.
Does Dan Mora sell books?
I think,
or does Dan Mora boost sales?
I think he sells books.
If Dan Mora had an original graphic novel out, would that sell numbers?
It did for when I bought them.
Yeah, it sold you books.
But that's the difference. Like, he came up that route. He already did that.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no, but
he did Klaus. He did
yeah, he did other things.
No, what's the book? No. Shh. No one tell me.
Power Rangers.
Are you like this? Oh my God, Once in Future.
Thank you. Once in Future.
My brain was like, that. Grandma. No, it has nothing to do with the word grandma.
Yeah. Okay. Once in Future.
No, I'm not saying he's
no, I'm saying if Dan Mora wrote and drew an original graphic novel or a new brand or a brand new image series.
Why is that the thing about a superstar artist? A superstar artist has to be able to write and draw?
No. A superstar artist does also write to get all the money.
No, I don't. No, I disagree with you on your definition of superstar.
Well,
artist.
That's true. I feel like the age of the superstar artist, a la the old guard, is over. Like I think that, and I think that the superstar writer is also dwindling, if not already done. And I think putting Hickman's name on this really helps my theory, because I'm not saying that Hickman didn't write Wolverine Revenge, but I am suggesting it.
Okay.
Allegedly.
Sure. I still disagree with you on superstar artist.
That's fair. And we have
I think you were incorrect.
And we have some fantastic artists in the chat right now who also disagree with me.
Yes.
So, and which is completely legitimate and fair. But I feel like it feels to me like the Todd McFarlane, Eric Larson, Greg Capullo era is over.
Sure.
And that's a shame.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true. Yeah. I do love their work. Okay. I love all these guys' work.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Okay.
And maybe it's just because Wolverine Revenge sucks. that I'm feeling like
Maybe
this.
you're just feeling that. Maybe
It
you're
could
just
just
feeling
be that
grumpy
this-
about it because you wanted it to be so.
Who didn't want
much
this to be
more.
great? It's not even cool.
There you go. Daniel Warren Johnson fits your criteria then.
Yes. But
I don't think that's like, I don't think his ability to write.
No. I forget about the writing thing.
No, you already said it. You put it in the ether.
Yeah, but I
We
don't
can
have.
clip
Oh, I
that.
can't change my mind. I'm just
No.
saying you can't put the like. Okay, the stipulation. My point is simply like this is a name you put on the book, and the book sells X amount of units. It's like the super the movie star.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise equals this amount of box office.
Okay.
This artist name equals this amount of sales. I think Daniel Warren Johnson is an outlier in today's comic book
I
world.
do think Dan Mora is, but he's up and coming. He's a rising star.
Is he still rising? I feel like we've reached the peak. And I don't mean like of his talent. I just mean like I think
you are in a.
I think everyone's aware.
Today.
I think everyone's aware of Dan Mora at this point. There's no one who's like, "Whoa, who's this guy?"
There might still be.
Yeah,
What if you're not reading DC?
Then you're an idiot.
What?
Because you're literally just cutting the market in half.
Well, what if you just don't? The books don't appeal to you?
What does that mean?
It just means like
DC doesn't appeal to me. That's like no.
DC has a very distinct voice to it. I feel like as a whole.
DC, yes.
And I think Marvel has a distinct voice as a whole, and maybe for some folks, DC doesn't appeal to them. So then maybe
they're
not as aware of Dan
seek
Mora.
to challenge that on a constant basis.
I agree that we do. I'm creating a voice for people who still have that like thought process.
Yeah, that's outrageous because you're missing a lot of great books.
Well,
and they're books that are like.
But whoa! The conversation was about people who may or may not know Dan Mora, and I'm just saying, if you're in the DC House of Publishing right now and you're reading their books, you're probably aware of him. But if you're not,
yes,
then you're probably less.
If you're
aware.
not aware of Dan Mora because you're not reading DC, then okay, fine. But I mean, I'm not expecting someone who only reads one particular thing or a newcomer into the industry to be aware of the cultural touchstones.
Well, that's just why I'm still saying
industry.
that there is room for I don't think Dan Mora is at the peak of his like fame and notoriety.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's still room to grow.
Oh, there's always room for grow.
I still think that I think a superstar artist can exist for sure.
Yeah, you're right. No, So there's someone in the chat who mentioned like another artist. We'll talk about them later, but like I feel that they are an outlier now. You can't make a list of like 6 or 7 who I think reliably sell
you can or you can't. Like you're saying
you can. I don't think you can make a list of 7 or 8 like names who can consistently and reliably sell a number that you can rely on or that you can bet on.
Well, all right, fair. I understand what you're saying. But I do still think there are more than you think there are.
You're absolutely right about that. No, you're right. There definitely are.
I definitely think there are more than you are thinking of because
I could make a list of 4 or 5.
Sure, but like, why do you need more than that? They're superstars.
That's true.
Like that's supposed to.
But
superstars,
are they?
But superstars, in my opinion, should be the outlier.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Because if they weren't, you wouldn't need your writers.
Well, that's true.
So, like, if you had like a fleet of artists who could sell books without a good writer, then basically you're saying the writer isn't as important. So I think that if you had a list of 4,
the superstar artists prove that you didn't need that writers are not important.
But they are important.
I know they are, but the definition of the superstar artist was also the erosion of the writer.
Right. So, like, I think there should only be a few.
That's fair. I don't. And the reason why I don't think so is because I think it's actually beneficial to have superstar writers and artists. I mean, superstar artists as well, like mostly. But like the superstar creator allows for growth and change within the industry.
Sure.
It has bargaining power.
Right. But like you don't need more than a few to make that happen.
Well, that's true. I just wish there were.
I
wish they would.
Okay. All
right, we get to the heart of it. I wish they would use their power and cachet to actually make successful inroads in the industry for their fellow artists and writers. But yeah. But anyway, so yeah. You read Flash.
I read Flash this week.
Speaking of books you love.
Yeah. Well, okay. So here's what's funny about this book, right? Like, I think last week I was all like, I don't know if I'm going to keep reading this book, guys.
I remember.
Like, I literally was that. That was me. Like, I was like, I don't know if this is for me anymore.
But we got Warlord.
This is issue 17. This is written by Cy Spurrier with art by Mike Delmund. Oh, wait, no. With art by Vasco Georgiev.
Yes.
Sorry, I read things in the worst way possible.
Yeah. I saw Georgiev's name
I read the
in a
right
book
column
recently.
before the left column, as you do in Western writing.
Please.
But yeah.
Oh, I saw Georgiev's name in some book recently where someone's like, "Watch out, Georgiev," and I'm like, specifically, yeah, that's a very common name.
Sure.
I appreciate the shout out for him. That's great.
Yeah.
I love Vasco Georgiev. He's great.
Yeah, the art in this is great. It's fun. It's energetic. It's colorful. That's obviously has to do more with the colorist than Georgiev. Colors by Matt Herms.
Okay.
But yeah, like this is a book where it's like I really loved Flash, like examining his responsibilities and his mental health and all that stuff. Like I in like the first like arc or so, right? And then this arc was like, let's do some superhero stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, we'll see how long I last on this. But this issue won me over, and I'm in for a bit more for sure. Like this issue alone made me go like, I'm reading this book. Like this is a thing I'm doing now. Because obviously we have Flash who's two Flashes, right?
Yes.
Like he, has like a temporal other version of himself. So he's on like the Justice League, but like he's also on vacation with his family doing another bit of work for the League.
Right.
Anyway, but you have like a cadre of folks who like include the other Flash, his daughter, Mr. Terrific, Nightwing, and Black Canary.
Yeah.
And a couple of folks show up, right? And Dr. Occult shows up, and Iris' brother shows up. And it's funny because like this is where the book for me, like I was like, oh my gosh, right, all right. It's still Cy Spurrier because Cy often has a different voice. Like he can be like biting and whatever, and like very like, reflective and stuff like that. But like sometimes with the Flash, it's been like occasionally biting, but more reflective.
Yeah.
But here I got some of that like Constantine sarcasm in here. In which like Nightwing and Black Canary respond to Dr. Occult and Iris' brother being there by calling them WESs, wandering esoteric smartasses.
Yes.
In which it's like they like will over explain everything, use really big words, and then when they instead of just saying that they don't understand something, they'll say fascinating and move on. And we see that throughout this book. Like that will continue to happen. I'm like, ha. It's a little Cy Spurrier, like, I'm like, haha, yay. So they're dealing with like this tower and what's going on with it, and like the like other Flash like has like a moment where like he kind of like loses his wits and then just kind of punches through the wall, and he's like, okay,
oh,
I don't know why I did that.
Had a little moment there.
Hopefully this isn't a problem. And then we deal with the main Flash family, and they're riding dinosaurs, and they go to this citadel, and it's all fun, and like it's cool looking.
Yep.
And they meet up with Warlord, and while this is happening, Flash is talking to his son, and is just like, and they're talking on like a sub level, essentially, like they're using vibrations.
Oh yes, they're using their Flash speak or whatever.
Yeah, in order to talk with each other. But he's like, hey, make sure you just keep smiling. I know you don't want to be a hero, but I need you to do a couple of things. Like obviously I see there's something going on with like Warlord's eye. I don't know what that's about. So like there's like some sort of like evil energy coming out of it. So like I'm gonna need you to make a run for it. I know you don't want to do this hero stuff. I'll protect your mom and the dog, and like, oh no, you take the dog, you get out of here. I'll protect your mom and the baby, and I need you to like go get help. Like I need you to go to the Justice League because obviously like something bad is gonna happen. And I'll just do what I can. It's like, here we go, let's do it. And like he starts to do the plan, the kid makes a run for it and then like disappears, and Warlord has made him go away.
Oh no.
And Warlord's like, hey, yeah, no, where you going? Where you going?
Yeah.
Why did your son just run away? What's up with that? That's weird. Don't you think that's weird? What are you doing? And then Warlord reveals that he's in fact not Warlord.
Oh no.
He's in disguise.
Is he Martian Manhunter?
No.
Okay. Because Jean kind of bailed on the Justice League. This has been
like the day of fun reveals for Sal. It's Eclipso, everybody.
Hello.
And that is literally what he is like in this book. He is like, hello, like,
didn't I die?
he doesn't reveal where he's like, I am your father. He's like, no, I'm just kidding. It's Eclipso.
Just me, Eclipso.
It's just Eclipso.
That's awesome.
And that's how Eclipso is written this entire time.
Woo-hoo!
Like it is incredible. I love Cy's voice for him. I have very little reference for Eclipso other than being a ridiculous looking villain who made everybody's comic book covers have gems on them.
Yes.
And so essentially he's like, no, it's cool. It's cool. Actually, I'm okay now. I'm cool. I'm like less of a supervillain. I'm more like just like kind of, vibing down here. I'm really enjoying.
Didn't Darkseid kill you like literally less than a year ago?
Well, like, whatever. I'm here. Who cares?
Okay.
Like, I'm here. It's fine. But like, he's very like, we're just vibing down here, and that's really kind of what I want to do. I just kind of want to keep the vibe going. Like,
sure.
We found all these things here, and it turns out like this like civilization was trying to like fix good and evil and stuff like that, but like where does it end? Like,
I guess
like, why don't we just not do that and just relax and shake a second, and like everybody around there's like kind of chill.
Yeah, they're all like, yeah, we're all vibing with Eclipso.
We're just all vibing. It's fine. But like, so essentially he acts as though he's warlord. He's like, nah, it's cool. Like I'm just warlord, and I do my thing.
Okay, all right.
And like there's this like lizard lady who attacked and stabbed Wally's son at the like earlier in this arc.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, it's like it's like she's really obsessed with me, but like I need you to like kill her. That's why I brought you here.
Oh,
because it's like I can't do that because that would kind of harsh the vibe.
Yeah,
like we got like a good thing going here, but like I need you to kill her because her people are all about like 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 moving up and like like trying to beat the highest person and like just and he's like, that's not really good for this culture, like for the civilization.
It doesn't
that's
really
not
keep
gonna,
things
that's not gonna
copacetic.
it's not gonna really work out, and I think it's gonna really upset everything in my court. So like I like her. I love her. I think she's great, but like I can't kill her. But like this needs to happen. So I need you to do this for me, Wally.
Okay.
And so like that's what we're getting is this story about how like something is definitely weird going on there because they use up like all these ancient machines. And I love this point where like Wally's like, okay, so let me get this straight. Like this is insane. You're a god. Like why can't you do this? And he's like, I'm a cosmic elemental. Anyway.
Yeah. Because I'm hiding in Warlord. Maybe I freaked out after getting killed by Darkseid.
No, he literally says it would totally bum everyone in the court. Or bum out everyone in the court. Like, we're like family. I'm like,
okay.
I kind of love, and I'm sure there's like some other machinations that's going on, but like I kind of love this role for Eclipso where he's just kind of like, nah, man,
just like let it ride,
it's
baby.
Fine. It's whatever. Like we're just here, and so like the machine, like one of the machines that he has, like can essentially just make you feel like really good.
Well, there we go.
Like,
okay.
Like it's a good vibes machine.
Yeah, so everyone's just getting high.
Yeah, it like gives you happiness, and so he shoots Wally with it, and Wally's like, that's nice.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good. But his other version is all like hyper aggressive at times. So I'm like, ooh, interesting, right? Also, obviously, the most of the Flash family does actually make it out, except his son, who is seemingly just kind of wandering about.
Oh no,
on the moon.
Yeah.
But his wife finds out that there's another one of him. She's like, let me get this straight. Like, you cloned yourself. He's like, no. Okay. She's like, you couldn't just go on vacation with us.
Right.
He's like, but I am. Okay, listen, I know what this looks like.
Right.
So immediately he's in trouble for that too. So like Sai is keeping up the balance of things that I like, where it's just like, I do want to know about Wally's personal life. I do care about his relationship with his family and trying to balance all that. And for him, this seemed like a good idea. Like the last arc was about how he didn't have enough time.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, I found a way to keep everyone happy, which is kind of him not actually learning the lesson.
No, it isn't.
But it is very human of how to learn. People do learn lessons where it's like never, like, it's not usually just like a
one
switch
cathartic moment.
Yeah. And then it's like, oh, I'm good now. It's like, you're going to have back pedals and then you go forward and whatever. But I'm in. I love Flash. And I love it being written by Cy Spurrier. Really, that's what I'm saying. I love Flash written by Cy Spurrier. And I love his voice for Eclipso so much.
Sure.
So I think as long as Eclipso's in this book, I'm here.
Well, there we go. That's fair.
It's so funny. Just so funny. I don't know if there's like hardcore Eclipso fans out there who are just like doing him dirty.
Yeah. I'm sure they are numerous and varied.
But I hope not, because it's really funny.
Yeah.
It's really good. He's rather sarcastic.
Nice. Well, we read Amazing Spider-Man. That's a book that came out.
Yeah, we did.
Not
written by Joe Kelly.
No, this one's by Justine Ireland, I believe. This time with art by Bracado. I'm gonna let you take his. So Amazing Spider-Man 66 from Andrea Bracado and Justina Ireland.
Yeah. So this book picks up where the half issue kind of left off, where it's like Peter has seemingly quit, and he's become like a nihilist. That's really what it is. It's less about him quitting and more about him like feeling like nothing matters. It's not just like Spider-Man doesn't matter, like nothing matters. Like nothing we do matters. Like he accidentally like stops a robbery because he's just like, why are you robbing this guy for like $64? Like you can't even buy a video game for that. And I was like, ouch.
Fair.
Oh, that but accurate.
Yeah.
I mean, you could buy Helldivers for $40. But
so and you should really.
But
by the way,
yes,
really quick.
Yes, I'm sorry.
This cover, the reason why I liked it so much is because it's by Bagley. I was like, oh, I didn't realize at first. I was like, oh wow,
that makes sense.
Yeah, the eye gave it away.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but they can't see you all the time. You're hiding behind both this and your microphone.
There. Is that better?
Yeah.
I'm over here. No, keep it up. It looks good.
It looks good. Yeah.
It looks good. Looks good. We'll figure this out. We got this. But yeah, like so it's really the issue focuses on Syra, the one of the two siblings, Sidorak duo, and
the one who doesn't want to punch him,
yeah, and like Strange in his astral form talking with Syra, and like us actually getting the reveal that Peter went through a lot more than Steve did. She's like, I really gave it to him.
Yeah, I really let him have it.
Like I love that. I do like that admission of her. She's like, no, I mean, like I 3 million. Like you did 800,000. I gave 3 million to him.
Yeah, and he still held on.
Yeah, he mourned every one of them, which is something you've never done. So like this issue for me is Syra realizing Doctor Strange is like probably one of the worst representatives of humanity,
or at least he's not the best.
He's yes, he's not the best. He's not ideal. But Peter's also not like a typical human either. He's not a typical representation of humanity.
Yeah.
But her like kind of coming to the conclusion that she's like, are you a jerk, Steven? And he's like, no. I mean, it's everyone else who's wrong.
All right, Steve.
I refuse to say that Peter Parker is better than me.
Yeah.
No, he's done that before.
Oh yeah. No, he's never said that. But he has he's the
heart.
He's been very nice to him.
He's very nice, very nice.
I brought back your uncle one time.
Yes, and weren't you sad? And so was Tiffany. But yeah, it's just them like going through like where he is right now and why he is feeling the way that he is feeling. And just going through that loss of seeing everybody, and every time he looks at anyone, he's pulling away from
everyone he cares about,
because it's a PTSD thing, or it's like, I saw you die, so like what's the point?
Yeah.
Like,
well, and also like and
it was in a horrific manner. It couldn't be in a normal manner.
No,
it wasn't just like at the end of your life where you live like a rich full life and had no regrets. It was in like some terrible way that now when I see you, that's all I see.
Yeah.
And inevitably he runs into Black Cat, and like I thought very fitting of the situation he's in, like they end up like sharing a kiss, you know what I mean? And that to me is very like Peter in like a really weird place in his life ends up in the arms of Felicia.
Yeah, I love
like,
that.
Sure,
that's exactly what I want.
That makes sense.
In this kind of world, that's fine with me. Twitter, of course, being rational and normal with it, freaked out because they were like, "Oh, Peter's cheating on his girlfriend and this, and he's
they were
married."
Very obviously broken up.
They broke up in this issue.
In
the
this
other
issue,
person,
like she's clearly like, yeah, we're good.
We're done.
No,
and I'm like,
you.
I'm like, you were never.
You haven't called me in 10 days, and then you just show up and nah.
I'm like, I don't even remember your name.
Yeah, but I thought this issue was quite good, except for the art. Didn't really enjoy the art so much in this issue. But I like the content of it. I like the conversation. Obviously, we see that like the next scion of Sidorak or whatever pops up, and the X-Men or X team are gonna try to deal with it for right now.
Yeah.
Until Peter can rally himself.
Because Juggernaut, Sidorak.
Right. Yeah. But like. Peter going through this is well earned, and it was this issue that made me kind of come to the real or to wondering if two things. One, I haven't shared with you. One, I did share with you.
Yeah.
One is Marvel, instead of writing for fans of Spider-Man, are they creating stories just for new audiences? Because for someone who hasn't been experiencing these things over and over and over and over and over again, as many Spider-Man fans have been, someone like me is reading this and like, I don't understand what everyone's problem is, because it's like, I'm enjoying this.
This is new to you.
This is new to me. And have they like kind of doubled down on just trying to constantly attract newer readers instead of trying to like please the long like history of readers who will probably buy it anyway.
Yeah.
And then two, could they be also writing these stories less for them to be read in like an omnibus and more for them to be picked off the shelf?
Yes.
Like here's this story.
Yeah.
It doesn't. No, I know there's a like number on it. There's legacy numbers on it, but don't worry about it.
Yeah, ironically, we brought like legacy numberings around the same time that we like stopped caring about legacy interest. Yeah. I mean, it's. I think the Zeb Wells run 100% like proved to them a number of factors that they realized. One was who's writing it doesn't matter. Like we don't need to pay top dollar to get like someone to write write Amazing Spider-Man. People just be patting themselves on the back for getting the job. So that doesn't matter. Yeah. Book sells itself. By the art in this book, we don't need to get a top tier writer or artist to draw the book. It could look like anything. As long as it's like legitimately visible, right? You're fine. As far as like Marvel's concerned, Amazing Spider-Man sells itself. Like it is just a self, it's a perpetual motion machine of sales. Just do whatever. Right. And so with that in mind, it makes perfect sense to make the Amazing Spider-Man book have absolutely no memory. Like have the memory of a goldfish where it's like, hey, how about this? Doc Ock is back. It's just like, oh, how about this? Spider-Man loses someone he loves. It's just like, it's the same, but in even like shorter bursts of time. Right. Will we retread the same thing over and over again? I just think that's the approach. It's just Marvel going like, why are we trying so hard? No, they're going to be mad anyway. Yeah. Like the people who are always mad are going to be mad, and they'll still either steal the book online or buy it. So let them. Yeah. No, I feel that, but it's like, it's so funny for me because I'm reading this book and you're like, this is I'm reading it in like a vacuum, essentially. Like I'm reading this book. Like I've been hearing you talk about it, but I'm not really experiencing it. It's one thing to like hear about something if you're in your comic book shop or wherever, like that's happening to a character. It's another thing to be reading it and putting in that like monetary investment and time investment and just brain investment to like getting to know that character. Yeah. And then just doing that over and over and over again to just keep seeing stories like this where it's like, I understand why some folks might be like, I don't like this and I don't like this because of the fact that it just reminds me of everything else that's come beforehand. Like exactly. It sucks. Like that sucks for classic readers. But if you're Marvel and you're like, well, I'm not seeing a dip in sales and there's a great opportunity for like new readers to jump on because I like, yeah, you're gonna buy it. You're gonna buy it either way. Or you don't think it's that bad, which is fine too. But while I was reading this, like I appreciate the attention that they're paying to like the reasons Peter's doing these things, to Peter experiencing these deaths, like to the real reactions that he would be having to this, like that a person might be having to this, like the pulling away from people, and again, like it being more of a nihilistic reaction to things, and yet still not able to help himself by helping someone out, but like in a like I'm not actually helping you, I'm just kind of just giving the facts. Yeah, I'm going through the motions. Yeah, like I think there's something really interesting there, but I think this book unfortunately gets like bogged down with all of everything that came before in Spider-Man. But I do wonder if it'll be something that later on people will enjoy in trades, but like as its like own thing. You know what I mean? Where it'll be like, oh, here's this book. Here you go. Yeah. Like, yeah, just read this book. It was kind of fun. It was an interesting time. Exactly. It was a weird time, but it's interesting. How many times have you brought up a book on back issues where there'll be like some random side character? Then I'm like, we're like, who is this? Like, it doesn't matter. They were here for like this period of time. They were here during this period. They were gone. Yep. But it doesn't like necessarily take away from the story. But if you're reading it month to month, right now, you're reading it like right now. Yeah. Like you're reading it right now. Right, it's happening like, now. It's fresh. Happening now. In your mind. It's fresh, but it's also like, even if it's coming out twice a month. Yeah. Right. Like it's still, this is a time investment. Like this is an investment. Yeah, it is. It's a financial investment. It's a time investment. And if the book is just treading, right, as opposed to going anywhere, then that it only hurts. It hurts your established reader base, I feel like. Absolutely. And you can't have this kind of book without it. Like that's the other thing is that like all this stuff, all the baggage, you wouldn't have it without the legacy. So yeah. It's gonna be no for me, dog. But I appreciate the fresh perspective. I feel like it's just like, like I don't know. I don't think there is an answer to Spider-Man anymore, and it's so interesting to me. Oh, there's an answer to see. No, I don't think there's a clear-cut answer for this. It's just really interesting to me, and I have a reason for that. I know you're gonna like say I'm incorrect, but that's fine. I just feel like
this is a character who is so like hopeful and seemingly loving and giving and very like someone who it's like you understand the choices they make, and oftentimes he makes bad choices or he makes choices we can't fathom because I couldn't fathom to be that heroic, right? Like I could not imagine being that.
Yeah.
And like the vitriol that surrounds him in like in like an online space is something that like he himself would despise.
No, yeah, no, it's absolutely true.
And that's just so freaking interesting to me is that like Spider-Man like fans, you know, Spider-Man may not care for that.
No, Spider-Man would hate most Spider-Man readers. Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't think there's a cut and dry solution to this. Because there's too many things it's trying to please.
Yeah, well, then that's what Marvel has realized, I think. The other thing for me is like, if it looked better, I would have a lot more forgiveness for it.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Yeah,
that's not my solution.
I really did not like the art in this.
Oh,
it was not my cup of tea.
It is unbefitting of a book of its caliber. So yeah, I also read Black Canary, Best of the Best, from Tom King and Ryan Sook. This book is almost over, actually.
Wow.
And yeah, essentially the main takeaway is the Black Canary and Batman team up for a minute. The whole book is about Black Canary sparring. Well, it's her training with her mom, who used to be Black Canary, and her in the midst of her like big multiversal broadcast battle with Lady Shiva.
Right.
And in one story, in one part, Batman shows up because Tom King can't help himself. And people had things to complain about with that. But it was actually like a Batman. I was like, this is kind of fun. Batman takes his shirt off. He has a hairy chest like he used to during the Neil Adams era. And they battle. And it's a fun. You know, the art is the main takeaway for this book. It looks gorgeous. So many amazing moments, especially with the like brutality of the fights. You know, Lady Shiva has essentially just been beating the ever-loving tar out of Dinah for 3 issues. There's a nice little flashback that shows you like how Black Canary got in touch with Vandal Savage, who set up the fact that he has a cure for her mother's illness. And so that's kind of like what she's doing. She's fighting in this battle to, you know, eventually throw it so that Vandal Savage can make money. And I'm like, what? Vandal Savage is like 1 million years old. What is he doing? Fixing, you know, boxing matches,
right?
But it's well written and it's good looking.
Okay.
And you know, and it's Black Canary, so you know, how could people be like, oh, she's out of character? I'm like, really? At this point, yeah, the art though is phenomenal. Just a great looking book.
That's awesome.
And the story is fun. You know, it's a lot of talking.
Wow.
From announcers, like, so it's a lot of noise.
Sure.
You know, I don't mind it. I think it's fun, but there's so much of it and it's so banal. I find myself just moving on to the next thing. Like I just glaze right over it. I'm like, no, not reading all that shit. Cause it's just imagine if they just filled like a page with
it has to mean something.
It does not. I mean, like, I'm sure that to Tom, it means a lot.
Okay.
But to the plot, it does not.
Okay.
I just wrote a Dr. Seuss story. But yeah, it's a good book. I do enjoy it.
Okay. Fair.
Let's see here.
You read Detective?
I did read Detective. I read Tech 1093, I guess is the issue. Yeah, 1093.
It is.
This is, of course, written by Tom Taylor with art by Mikkel Yannon. It continues the story of like, you know, there are some orphans from a particular place that are being killed by a new character who is clearly, you know, her identity is unmistakable from new character that's created by Tom Taylor to fight Batman. Batman himself is sleeping with Joe Chill's daughter, and we're reinforcing that. Not a lot happened in the story to drive the plot. We essentially just see like Batman dispatches the Bat family to protect each potential victim. And they fail to save one, but Batman is himself taken off the table momentarily. Like I saw someone complain that like Batman looks like an amateur, and I'm like, no, you're just so used to seeing Batman win all the time,
right?
Like
right.
There was a character called the Film Freak who gave Batman a run for his money one time. Like Batman is supposed to not win every fight. he wins at the end of his stories. We doesn't have to like easily defeat the villain within the first minute of meeting them. Fantastic action, and good interpersonal dialogue and characterization. I like reading this book.
Okay.
I'm just having a nice time reading Batman.
The cover is phenomenal.
It's a phenomenal cover. The Mikhail Yanin continues really, really good looking art throughout. Again, you know, good fighting, good action, good quiet moments though. This moment of Bruce like chasing after her, you know, like he calls her up, like the girl, you know, the woman who's giving him the like youth treatments that he's been taking, while also being the daughter of the man who murdered his parents, who were also protected by Thomas Wayne because he was an abusive husband, and they helped disappear her for a time.
Okay,
that was retconned in earlier,
right?
But you know, Batman's calling her up. Bruce Wayne's calling her up, being like, "Hey, I had a fun time, like sleeping with you the other night. Like we should go out again." And she's like, "Nah, maybe not." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, "Hey, look at Batman being like rejected."
Yeah, he's like, that doesn't.
Oh, normally I'm the person who says that.
I call for Alfred, but
he's still dead somehow, and his absence is making people, you know, these new people who are like buying Amazing Spider-Man, go, "Who is Alfred?" Or like, why do we need him? But this book is good. I'm digging Detective. I just enjoy it. You know, it's not doing anything in particular that like, it's not like blowing the doors off, but it is like accomplishing something.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, you're just telling a good, fun Batman story.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
That's all I could ask for. Take it away.
Freaking Absolute Wonder Woman.
Absolutely great.
Yeah, Absolute Wonder Woman came out this week, written by Kelly Thompson with art by Hayden Sherman.
Yes.
Absolute Wonder Woman number 4. I can't believe we're already on the 4th issue of this book.
It feels like we're on like the 10th issue of this book. For me, I'm like, man, wow, yeah. Like I can't believe there's only 4 issues. I
know. I mean, I think the first issues of all these were longer, so I think that helps. To make it feel like we've had more. Man, just this is the book that just take my money.
Yeah,
this is the take my money book 100%. This is such a strong book. I hold in my opinion that this is my favorite of the 3. Of the 3, this is my favorite.
The 3 absolute books.
Yeah, like this is it. This is the one. And obviously
it's so strong.
It's magic. I mean,
well, it's magic. It has such a clear and counter identity. It doesn't shy away from being the premise, but also it's so demonstrably not its counterpart, you know.
Yes.
Like if you're looking for Batman, like you could get him anywhere.
Yes.
And if you're looking for Superman, you can get a lot of options.
Yep.
But you know, this is not the other book.
No, the others are definitely like calling forth the spirit of their characters that they're meant to be derived from,
and they're establishing their own identities.
Yeah. Oh no, they are. But like the spirit is still there. But I don't think the spirit is still there in the way that Thompson is capturing the spirit of Wonder Woman in this. Like this is a completely different Diana. There's a Diana who has a different history. She has a different mentality. Yep. She has a different look. Just different everything.
Yeah.
But like the spirit of who I believe Wonder Woman to be is still there.
Yeah, it's
and that's what I'm like so freaking impressed by is Thompson's ability to manage all of that.
Yes.
And then of course Hayden Sherman, their art is unbelievable. It's just so spectacular. I had like their art. We've talked about them.
They're on another level.
But like to see their work in this book is just so phenomenal.
Oh, I know.
So phenomenal. Like,
yeah.
From the character designs, which are beautiful and just so distinct.
Yep.
To the panel layouts. The panel layouts in this book are so much fun.
Yes.
You know, we do a decorative or a sort of breakout panel when it's necessary.
Yes.
And it just serves to punctuate the story as opposed to just try to steal the show for the story.
Yeah.
I absolutely love in this book Diana's patience.
Oh my god.
Like, and I think that's really been on display. I mean, we always like I do associate Wonder Woman, if I didn't realize it until this book, with patience. Even though she can like in the cartoon, she was always like quick to be like, why don't we just go and punch him?
Yeah.
Not quite like Shayera.
No.
But she was ready.
But she was just
often
shy.
She was often ready for a fight. Like, let's go for it.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But Wonder Woman is often very just like, okay,
measured.
Hold on, let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact is, I have nothing to worry about because, like, if I need to punch them, I will punch their face into their feet.
Yes.
And that's how it'll go. Yeah. Like, and then you put like the witchcraft stuff on there, and like I love that. I love changing Cersei. I love this little highlight on Cersei where it's like, obviously, I think a lot of us have been questioning, like, is Cersei really this? Is she going to turn out to be a bad guy? Because it's so easy to make her the bad guy, right? But for Kelly to go like, no, hang on.
It would be so tragic to make her
right.
the bad
But
guy
like
now.
we get to see Hecate for
Yes.
the first time in this book. Great design.
Oh yeah, good call.
Great design, very different.
Yep.
For like the triple goddess, but like very cool to see that. And to have Cersei be like annoyed that like she has this child that's not her own, but then for her to understand. And like, you know, the idea of like what her like end of the world is. Like it's just so sweet. Like I love this book. I love the strength of this book. I love the monsters in this book.
Oh yeah.
I love, you know, the fact that obviously we're at the end of this, humanity's going to be like, ooh, is she a problem?
Right. Well, and not only that, you know, the other thing that's wonderful about this book is that it, unlike even Brian Azzarello's take in the New 52 of Wonder Woman, where it was like, you changed her origin, you know, very much different. You know, Brian Azzarello's Wonder Woman, very different from like George Perez's Wonder Woman, but still supposedly the same character. You couldn't do this in the main universe.
No, because in order to do this, you'd have to say like everything else didn't happen.
That's
or
right.
It'd have to be a crisis,
everything.
and you know it was going to change. These characters, this Wonder Woman gets to be who she is, regardless of anything else, without fear of someone going like, that's not who she is, or a crisis, or like another writer coming on. Like, this is who this character is. This is who this character will always be. I mean, like, of course they can make changes going forward.
Oh, sure.
But this origin will be there.
Yeah. And it represents, I think, the success and the strength of the line, you know, which is like, here's something different. Here's something new. Here's something exciting. Here's something to get on board for. Here's something that could have legs. And it fixes the problem of a crisis. Where you can't say, oh, they threw away the old thing, or oh, they changed this. No, they didn't. This is ground floor. Yeah.
I also appreciate that like Thompson in this last issue, I think did something that was really important to me, because it's like, obviously we have seen her strength. We've seen her patience. We've seen her use magic in this. But a lot of times what will end up happening is like either like Diana will like punch her way through things, or you'll just see a lot of times like she's used her compassion and her brain in order to fix, and like I have nothing wrong with that. Like, hey, thank you. Like, call women smart. I love that. But like Diana is, if nothing else, super strong.
Yes.
Right. And I feel like adding the magic component gives like us this like ability to go like, she will use her mind, but don't think that she's not going to lift a sword that's like 20-30 times bigger than she is, and then drive it down into a beast. Like, she will use her brain, she will use her mind in order to solve this problem, but her arm is the thing that's going to help to make that blow happen. And I'm like, I love this. I love this balance. Like this has easily become, this is my Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah.
Like, this is my Wonder. We're only 4 issues in, so this is a big claim to make. But this is it. Like, I'm just like, this is the one I want all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm glad the other one exists, because without that other one, but like, this is my Wonder Woman right now.
Totally fair. Yeah.
Like, she's fantastic. She's wonderful.
She is. Yeah, she is a wonder.
She is a wonder.
It's a great book.
It would be hard though, I think, for me to see this drawn in anyone else's hand other than Hayden Sherman's hand.
Well,
but
it's interesting.
It's only because they are so, they're so perfect.
Yes.
And I think for a lot of folks who may not have been familiar with their work, they're like, what?
Oh, it's very much
but it's also shock. It is also a, like, each book has I think a perfect look to it right now. So
yeah. Rafa Sandoval's doing an amazing job with Superman. I love what Nick Dragotta is doing with Batman.
Yeah.
And Sherman is defining Wonder Woman and redefining the character. And then we read
wait, whoa, where are you going, sir?
Oh, sorry.
Terminator number 4 came out this past week. Where are you going?
I can't talk about this.
Oh, okay.
Written
by Declan Shalvey and Sal Crivelli, with art by, I didn't pull this up in time.
Well, the backup is by Colin Craker.
That I know. That one I know. but I wanted to get the other one, and
Yes.
I was not. I was ill prepared.
You
ill
were.
prepared because we were talking about Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Where is it? There it is. Lorenzo Ray.
Yes.
We're really gonna be talking about the last the backup.
We're really gonna be talking about the last 2 pages.
We're gonna talk about the backup. That's the thing to talk about.
Oh,
Not
thanks.
saying like, listen, you buy the book, you get the whole book. You enjoy the whole book.
Yeah, so much to enjoy.
You enjoy the whole book, but that's not what we're here for right now. This is what we're here for. See this? That there.
Thank you.
This is what we were here for.
Yes.
And today we have superstar writer Sal Corvelli on the show
I would hesitate to call him a superstar.
to talk about his penultimate 2 pages to the last 2 pages of his backup.
Yes. It's absurd.
Freaking awesome. Great 2 pages.
Yeah, no, Kraker is crushing it, man. The last 2 pages were these last 2 pages, which are not the last 2 pages.
Yeah.
Were great. I wanted to make sure we got like metal Terminator people in it, because it's mostly just guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kraker's really crushing it.
Yeah.
That last page, or that the first panel of the second page of this issue. I mean, like, yeah. How have you ever seen that?
No, I have not, and I love it. Like, that was a moment where I was like, oh, and yes, high ups to Kraker for putting these images on the page.
Yeah.
But you were the one that described these images, and you were the one that came up with them, and I think you did a really, really great job of giving something new to people who read, who like Terminator, who maybe just know a little bit about Terminator. This is still something incredibly new for them, obviously.
Yeah.
But
we've only seen Terminators fight different model Terminators.
Right.
How about the same model Terminator?
Right.
And one that's like 25 years older.
Yes. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it so much. I know that you had mentioned this before, that a lot of the story doesn't have a lot of like dialogue in it. Like, I'm sure that gave you your own challenges in terms of writing.
It did. I didn't want to bog it down. Like, I deliberately didn't shove dialogue in there. I was like, this has to have a lot of action. It has to have some heart, but it also has to it has to move. It's 10 pages. And how am I going to tell that story? Mostly going to fight. It's because otherwise I felt it was really self-aggrandizing to try and shove like a book's worth of story into 10 pages. And I'm just not there yet. Like, I'm just not the kind of storyteller who can condense a kind of 10-page story.
Right.
A full narrative. I'm thinking of like those beautiful backups, like the one in Spider-Man Limited #1. I want to say 95. I don't remember. But there's a great story. It's not very, it's very, very short, where basically Peter Parker wakes up in bed and he's 15 again.
Yeah.
And he spends most of the story in disbelief that he's there, and then realizing this is the day.
Right.
And then running back. It's like such an amazing page. And it's only like a few pages. Like, it's really, really short. And I'm like, I can't tell that story, but I can show you 2 Terminators beating the shit out of each other.
Right.
And so yeah, I also, it was all about like condensing panels, the 4 panels, 6 panels, like making it sure I didn't bog down the page. I wanted Colin to have some room,
right?
Really like play and tell story. And again, we've talked about this before, but I think I mentioned it on the Dorkly podcast, This Week in Nerd History. But I wanted to make sure that the artist has enough room to tell their story and to have fun with it. Oh, but Colin showed me his layouts, his thumbnails.
Yeah.
Like a few hours, if not a day after he got the script.
That means
and I was like, this dude knew how to tell this story immediately.
Yeah.
And he was like, here, what do you think?
I think that's really a testament to both of you. Then. Yeah. You had strong storytelling from you.
Well, thank you.
And strong art ability from Colin.
Yeah, no, Colin crushed it. Colin was a fantastic collaborator.
But seeing these pages, these second penultimate 2 pages.
Yes, the penultimate 2 pages.
Penultimate 2 pages. For me, I love the fact that that we're gonna get to see this all together at some point.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see it all together too. I've actually been I've been pulling those pages and putting them into a folder so I could see if it reads all at once, because I've never actually read the whole thing at once.
Well, you read your script.
Yeah, but I've never actually seen the book.
That's fair.
All at once. It was funny. I read a review from, I think it was Adventures in Poor
Read
Taste.
The full review there. Just right there. Here, I got it. It's right there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Adventures in Poor Taste, I believe, had a kind of summary or explanation. They said it's a fairly quiet 2-pager, punctuated only by Jeff Eccleby's sound effects. the blam of bullets or the clang of metal on metal as Terminators fight and taking out the air of a Western-style shootout as two machines try to kill each other. I'm not sure where this story is going, but it does look good, thanks to Craker, which I think is a fair assessment.
I disagree with that.
Thank you, Jennings, for your fair and balanced review. But yeah,
not sure where this is going. Well, maybe they probably also don't know how many more pages it has. Well, that's
the thing. That, like, it was very it's a tough premise. Like, here's 10 pages, 2 pages at a time for 5 issues. It's hard to sell.
Yeah,
and people weren't sure what the hell they were looking at. They thought people thought the first 2 pages of the first issue were the whole story.
They could have been.
No. I would have wasted 2 friggin' pages.
Anything could be.
But yeah. Yeah, but thank you. I appreciate your kindness.
Yeah, I think it's really good. And I think I think it's a combo of those two. And if that person thinks that it's only because of the art, then that means that they don't understand how comic books are written. And I'm sorry to that person for saying that. They understand it. I mean, obviously not. I mean, I think some people think, and there are some scripts that are written like this where they go right and they're like, do something cool. Now, admittedly, Tom King did say that he did that occasionally with Supergirl, but only because he trusted Bilkis or Bilky so much in terms of her creativity.
Yeah.
It's like, you're going to see this, but everything else is written, right? Like,
yeah.
So it's like when you have panels where there's no words on it, the writer still had to do something.
Mm-hmm.
The writer still had to decide the pacing. The writer still had to help with that. The writer still had to go like, you're going to see this is what's going to happen. Then this is going to happen, whatever. Right.
Yep.
The artists just bring that to life, but that's why it's collaboration between words and art.
That's right. Thank you. Well said. Ultimate Spider-Man. Hickman and Chichetto. Now this one was written by Hickman.
Well, yes.
Unmistakable.
Yes.
But yeah, who is the new Ultimate Spider-Man? That blew me away. That was a real, knock me for a loop. Only in as much as I'm like, oh my God, this is really going to all fall apart, isn't it? This is all going to come crashing down. The Spider-Man Peter Parker story, Kraven has taken Harry and Peter. We knew that from the last issue.
Yep.
We see that they're taken further down subterraneanly. And we revealed that's where the Savage Land is in the Ultimate Universe. It's below Manhattan, more or less, or Long Island, I think. So we see Devil Dinosaur gets a cameo. We see a lot of all the hallmarks of the Savage Land ruled by this
I did not
version.
Realize that was Devil Dinosaur.
Yeah, he's red. He's just a red T-Rex.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah. But ruled by Kraven the Hunter. And
ruled by Mole Man.
Well, Mole Man. That's right. Mole Man is subletting it to Kraven for his experiments, but not without payment. We also find out that Mysterio is involved. And
Mysterio shows up. He figures it out.
They figure it out.
They figure it out. Sorry.
Because there's a lot of theories about who Mysterio might be. And Mysterio's gentle caress of Harry's hair implies maybe a certain blonde, headbanded young lady might be the culprit for Mysterio's operations. Wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Mysterio's dad.
What's
or it's Harry's dad.
It's Harry's dad.
He
It's
didn't die.
Yeah, Norman became Mysterio. That actually would be a fun surprise. But yeah, so we see the difference between Peter and Harry and how they deal with stress and what's going on with that. We see Kraven tormenting them. Harry and Peter end up in the Savage Land. They're attacked by dinosaurs. We see Peter just gripping a friggin' Velociraptor's mouth with his bare hands. Super cool stuff. Super cool, fun action. Obviously, their priorities are get back to their family, save them, save them from harm. The other subplot being what's going on with the Picotech suit. We saw the reveal from the Christmas episode. Issue, yeah. That Pete put the Picotech suit in charge of his, operations if he were to go missing. Did not have the subdermal tracking chip installed or whatever, so the suit can't find him. And Pete's son is flying around in the Venom suit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm hesitant to call it the Venom suit. I'm sure it's not going to be bad.
Unbeknownst to Mary Jane.
Unbeknownst to everybody.
Yeah.
And
but I mean, obviously, I think she could probably figure it out.
I'm sure.
I love that conversation between his son
and the suit. Yep.
About when he's like, wait a minute, you haven't
no. Peter was very specific about what I'm allowed to do.
He had 3 rules. 1, don't touch Mary Jane.
Yep.
2, keep my family safe.
3,
don't touch Mary Jane.
Yeah. So I was like, that's fun.
Yep, that's Pete to a T.
Yep.
You don't even have to see that panel.
No.
You know that you can already imagine it.
Exactly. I'm so concerned. For the first 12 issues, I was like, this kid feels really unconnected to his father.
Mm-hmm.
Pete is not.
He's just a teenager.
I know, but I'm hypersensitive to the concept of fathers and sons when it comes to a Spider-Man book.
Okay.
This kid feels like his father is not paying enough attention to him. And now he's stepping into his literal or his
Oh,
figurative
okay.
body.
Well, you think he's become Venom?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that, yeah, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
Like, I think his son's gonna die. That's what I think is gonna happen.
Oh.
Like, but you know, he's finding, there could be some real depth here. You know, like his son feels distance and alienated from his father. He's seeking guidance from strong male role models. He finds it from J. Jonah Jameson, one I would not necessarily recommend.
He's better in this world than he is.
He's
still Jonah.
JJ.
He's still Jonah.
But like the fact that Richard finds comfort / guidance / hero worship in JJ is a concern. Now he's in the Venom suit.
Right.
Like we are building Richard's fall. And it's going to be devastating. That's how I feel or can see this.
I just don't see that, but I'm also not. I'm just reading the book.
Right. Yeah.
Like I'm just reading it.
I can't read a Spider-Man book without waiting for the other shoe to drop. And this book has been 12 issues of, oh my God. Especially with the last page reveal from the previous issue where they're like, fear is knowing you can lose your fan. It's
yeah.
Just, oh,
yeah.
But yeah, a lot of fun callbacks. And also, Richard meets the Black Cat. Black Cat finally shows up.
Yes.
In the book.
Yes.
Which, okay. Like Felicia is a teenager. Richard's a teenager. Less creepy and weird now.
Well, that's what made it feel like that was like a moment for me where I was just like, I get why them like wanting to push Miles because like Richard, like you could still have Peter be Peter with MJ and do his thing and let someone like Richard like take on.
Yeah.
Like here's the things you wanted to see, but different. But you can't have Felicia Hardy be the age she is and have Miles.
No.
Like that's not okay.
Nope. It's not gonna work. But it does here. It does with this. Yeah, Cicchetto's art is great as always.
Cicchetto, man,
looks great,
like
gorgeous. Handles dialogue and action.
Opening panels of like the suit swinging through the city, like.
Yep, we saw that they. Obviously, switched the colors scheme, which also reflects, I think, Richard's feelings. But also that it shoots out the top of the wrist or the top of the hand, like the original real Venom suit.
Right.
Which I was happy to see.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Good stuff.
Yeah. And again, like Hickman just proving he knows how to balance these books. We don't have to know what every single character is doing.
No.
In each issue.
No, when we check in on them, I'm like, oh no. Hickman wants me to pay attention to who this is.
Right. But I appreciate that where it's just like, yes, I have a huge cast of characters. You do not need to know what they're doing every moment of the day.
Right.
Like,
well, that allows me to surprise you when you see what they've been doing.
But like this makes me worried because like we check in with them once a month.
Yeah.
So like a whole month is going to go between us seeing what happens with Peter and Harry. Or are we going to switch that up now?
I don't know.
Like, are we going to we did the year and now we will do a different.
Oh yeah. Different increment of time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because they were very distinct on like labeling when this book was taking place. It's like January 31st.
Oh yeah. That way he could get he could get the same month twice.
Did he?
Well, I think the previous one was December.
It
so
was.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. No, he didn't. Then.
Well, if it's January 31st, then that means that issue 14 will probably be January 1st.
Or February 1st.
No, January 1st. And then we get to see the whole month. Like the beginning of the month. They'll get to go back.
Oh, you want them to go back?
I don't want them to. I just think that's what
I think that it's going to be February 1st. I think that's why we put it there. So that we could be. Because we can't go a month. Like we can't jump a month. We need to know.
Yeah.
I trust Hickman, but I need to know.
Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, it's cool. It's dope. It's hip. It's now. It's wow.
And they deal with dinosaurs because I realized that's just a thing.
Yeah.
You put heroes with dinosaurs.
You're going to get a good time.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, you got something special. You're cooking. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, overall, fun, great, and interesting because the data is in. Ultimate Spider-Man has outsold Amazing Spider-Man every single month that it comes out.
Wow.
For a year.
Wow.
There you go.
I mean, admittedly, you do have a couple of things going for it. One, it has no baggage. Two, it is Hickman.
Yeah.
And a lot of the book has had Cicchetto on it.
Right.
Too.
But I think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, folks, but I think that Ultimate Spider-Man by Bendis did not consistently outsell JMS Spider-Man when it was
But
coming
it was
out.
also functioning more like a regular book. This book has the luxury of not doing that. This book was like, you're checking in with these people like once a month.
Yeah.
And that's it. And like,
you have to read this. Like you have to check in.
Like,
Otherwise
so
you're gonna
much
miss it.
will have happened.
Yeah.
In between that time.
Right.
So it's not like, okay, and now it's like, oh, we're in the same thing. We're like, we're spinning our wheels or whatever. So that's fantastic. I love to hear that.
Yeah.
I love to hear that.
Yeah. So what is our book of the week? I think I'm gonna have to pick Absolute. No, I'm kidding.
You're allowed to, because like
no, it's Ultimate Spider-Man.
I'm torn between those two. Because Ultimate Spider-Man was phenomenal this week.
Yes, it was.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. For me, it's Ultimate Spider-Man. But special shout out goes to books like Detective and Superman, which I think are consistently good all the time.
Oh, I don't know what to pick. This one's rough.
I know.
This one's rough. Because I got to give it to Absolute Wonder Woman.
Yeah, and that's totally fair.
Well earned. You already gave it to Ultimate Spider-Man. I have to give it to Absolute Wonder Woman then. So, like, again, like, talk about consistency. Just two, like, incredible, like, titans of books coming out.
Yep, and completely different, totally different tones.
But the fact is, it's Terminator #4.
Oh, yeah, easily.
It's actually Terminator #4.
Thank you.
But apparently I'm not allowed to make it that. So it has to be Absolute Wonder Woman. But it's Terminator #4 because of the penultimate backup in there. So
oh, yes. Thank you.
Penultimate page is the backup. It has to go to the backup in Terminator 4.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
But yeah, I mean, I easily could have given it to Ultimate Spider-Man this week. And if Flash had come up against nothing else, I loved
you loved the issue.
Voice for Eclipso. So good. So good.
Right?
Yeah, but Absolute Wonder Woman's got to take it. It's just an effortless book.
I agree.
But it carries so much weight.
Yeah. So jumping into the super chats.
Yeah,
here we go. Tea Time 480 says, have you both seen the new Superman promo with corn sweats flying? I did. It's great. I'm thrilled. People were like, oh, AI or CG. Nope. Just a wide angle lens on a human face. Looks friggin' weird. But
It does. No, if you ever want to see how much a lens can change the way your face looks, look it up. Look up people like changing the lens out, like keeping it at the same distance away from the face, and see how much your face changes and why certain lenses are used for beauty shots. Teen Time 480 comes back to say, as someone whose name constantly gets mispronounced, I empathize with David, which is why I appreciate it when people try to pronounce it correctly. Also, it's pronounced core and sweat.
That's what I've been saying.
I know.
Core and sweat, which I don't like saying. Samuel Summers, currently reading a JMS Amazing Spider-Man based on your recommendation. Loving it. It's my second favorite BMB Ultimate Spider-Man. Yeah, I agree. I the same. I usually say Brian Michael Bendis Ultimate Spider-Man is my favorite run of Spider-Man, but JMS was a close one. It's not my favorite, but it is top 3 at least, if not top 2. But yes, I'm glad you dig it, man. Enjoy.
Hulkzilla saying, happy Monday. Gonna have to catch this episode afterwards. Just want to sing my praises to Thompson and Hickman for Absolute Wonder Woman and Ultimate Spider-Man, respectively. Well, we are all on the same page there for sure. Have a great week, y'all.
You too, Hulkzilla. Thanks so much, man.
Hulkzilla. Appreciate you.
See you on the repeat. Chocobo Kid, let me tell you something, man. Love the video of you and Rob. It was great. Hope 6 months from now we get another Ultimate Sal and Absolute Rob. I love that idea. Hopefully I'll have Rob back sooner than later. It was great seeing Rob again. There were people who've come to this channel who were like, do you guys know each other?
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Jamzilla saying, Sal, congrats on the Terminator backup. They've been cool.
Thank you.
Hope you guys' day was good. How are you both feeling about Ultimate Spider-Man so far?
We're fans. We dig it.
Freaking incredible.
Thank you so much, man.
It's freaking incredible.
Matt 302 just started Bendis' Ultimate Spider-Man. Is the whole run worth reading, or is there a jumping off point? Appreciate making Mondays better. Well, thank you, Matt. No, I think it's good. I think it's good the whole way through. I think you could read it all the way through Miles, honestly. The time to jump off is probably when they start doing all those crossovers. Although I do love when Galactus goes to the 1610 universe. Just when you get to Miles, you'll find a point probably when his Hydra girlfriend shows up where you can go, and then he goes to the main universe. Like, you could just stop. Miles's run is not nearly as good. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Is this me?
Yeah.
Zilly Goose says, you guys have talked about it sparingly here and there, but would you ever do a Comic Pop episode on Doctor Strange Fall Sunrise?
That's a great question.
I don't know. Do you want that?
I mean, I would like to see that. It's among the like dozens of episodes that Tiffany needs to do on this channel, but or on the other channel, I should say. But Doctor Strange does not pay the bills. It's tough.
It is tough.
But if we were to doing like more consistent Tiffany episodes, that would definitely fall under her purview.
Sure.
So I think if there's a way, you know, I know Doctor Strange will not be in Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday, but he will be heavily used in Secret Wars. So at least we'll talk about him then.
Fair.
Jay Sage didn't. Oh, did you read there? Or?
No, I read the Fall Sunrise one.
Didn't know Elsa Bloodstone and Hal Jordan had a podcast and were married. As a reader, what would draw you to a cosmic story? And have a good evening. You too, man. Thank you.
That's
funny. Thank you.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take being a sarcastic, you know, magic hunting, monster hunting Brit.
Yeah. And I'll take, you know, going parallax on everybody.
Please don't do that.
Yeah. Things that draw me to cosmic stories are typically relatability, but also great art. If it's dope looking, that's going to help in a big way.
Cosmic horror. Oh, Tea Time 480 saying shout out to Danielle, but appreciate all of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tim Kogan says, speaking of Hickman, any chance of doing his Shield run on back issues? It's super weird, and I think people would get a kick out of it. I agree. I had originally been waiting for the run to end before we did it on back issues, but I could see us doing that. It'd be fun, but I don't know if the audience is there for it. We'll have to see from some kind of temperature read.
But people were like wondering who Danielle is. That's our moderator.
That's our moderator. Yeah, exactly.
Kettler will defend for treats, saying the censored version should be called Unread Ban.
Jay Kino, Jim Lee still sells books this day. It's true. Jim Lee is absolutely what would be considered to be a superstar artist. I feel like he would be considered an outlier, but like, you know.
Someone mentioned Peach Momoko. I was like,
big time. No, that's where I started to waver.
I was like,
Peach Momoko doesn't just sell books. She causes fights.
Gavin S saying I'm super excited for that Untold Legend of the Batman facsimile reprint. Fun to reread the pre-crisis Batman origin. Future back issues?
I don't know, maybe. Jake Turpin, after losing my home in the Los Angeles wildfires,
oh my gosh,
watching you guys gives me a sense of normalcy. That's that I've been missing. Thank you.
Oh, hey, Jake, man, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry to hear that. It really blows, man. I'm really, really sorry.
Oh.
But thank you for watching the show.
Yeah, I'm glad you're safe.
Yeah, I'm glad you're safe. I hope your family's safe, and you know,
like if we can at least give you normalcy, that's like a small percentage, but like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I'm so
really
sorry. Amoro 1X says, I feel the same way as Tiffany. I really think 8th S has been solid, not great, but definitely good.
Oh, it's better than what Wells is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Dante Cook, if you want to put out a horror-rated book, just do it. Stop being cowards. However, I picked up the new Red Band Daredevil, and it's fun. I just want a new, mature material from the big two. Maybe Red Band is another way to get it. I mean, like, first of all, I didn't even know that they did Daredevil. That's insane. The second thing is, it's true that it's better that it exists than it doesn't. My point isn't necessarily that they shouldn't bother. My point is simply, now that they are doing it, maybe we can, like, okay, we've proven we can do it. We've proven we can
maybe
we
need
can
to
make
bring
it work.
Marvel Max back.
Right. I think, yes. I think Marvel Max deserves to exist. I think call it Marvel Max. Like, just bring it back. But just don't do it the same way you did it. You know, maybe like Marvel Max should be treated more like an adult ages, you know, Black Label line. I don't know. I don't know. But I want
Mature.
Marvel Mature would be one way to do it. I think Max is the way to go.
I think Marvel Mature might be taken to something else.
That's why.
Christian Gattaca says, absolute Wonder Woman could not be coming out at a better time. It fills my heart with hope despite this broken world. By far the best of the three. I'm with you.
A lot. I've heard a lot of that conjecture. I love that moment where they were like, this world is predisposed to be bad. I was like, oh, hey, you're pulling it in.
Yep.
I saw Scott Snyder on Twitter just today was talking about how, like, within this year they will all meet.
That's fine. Take their time.
I'm just excited.
I want to get to know them.
Yeah, no, I want them to live in their worlds, but I am excited.
But I'm also not excited because that means that Wonder Woman will be drawn by someone who isn't Hayden Sherman.
But I'm excited to see that. Or Sherman will draw. But I Sandoval or Dragata doing Wonder Woman, I'm in.
Yeah, it'll be cool. But
yeah. Doc says, hello, just popping in to say I used to never understand the hype over Wolverine until I started to read X-Men, and I get it. He gives readers every emotion, and you pair him with any character.
Yeah.
100%. Wolverine is one of those like endlessly crossoverable characters. Like you can put him in anything. Like absolutely. Like the fact they made Deadpool and Wolverine an ongoing series now is like, that's a no-brainer.
It just helps. It's easier to cross over characters, I feel like, that are like curmudgeons.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why Batman's endlessly crossoverable.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree.
Bear Farmer saying, loving the stream of new types of videos this week. The idea of absolute universe invading the Marvel universe while the Ultimate Universe invades DC is hilarious, but all too possible. But what teams would write it?
Yeah, that was a thing we floated around where it was like, what it was on our oh my god, it's not even in the episode comes out this week, so you're probably quoting from Patreon over on patreon.com/ComicPop. This week's back issue is already uploaded.
Ooh.
And in it we talk about how there's an expectation that, like, you know, in both worlds their universes are coming back, or at least characters from it are going to go back to their original universe. Like there will be an ultimate invasion of the Ultimate Universe to the Marvel universe, and the Absolute Universe and the DC universe. But what if the Absolute Universe did not invade the DC universe, but instead invaded the Marvel universe?
Oh.
And the Ultimate Marvel universe invaded the DC universe.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Don't tempt me with a great time. But who would write it? I mean, like, I think the teams that are there. You know, I want to see that.
Yes.
Like, I would love to see Joshua Williamson write a DC Marvel crossover, even if it's Absolute and not. But you know, but the usuals. I mean, Chip, get the hell out of here. You know, get out here and do it.
Get out of here.
Get out of here, and then come back here and then write them. And but you know, Chip and Scott and Josh and, you know, Jeffrey Thorne. Would be great to see.
Yes, absolutely.
By the way, Thorne Identity, I hope you saw your shout out in the Rob episode. Dante Cook, you can read that one.
Oh, okay. The new show with Ben and Ethan was great. When are we getting more? Take my money.
Soon. And I saw a lot of Tiffany boosting.
Oh, what?
A lot of Tiffany boosting in the episode that we just dropped. But they were like, great, but when will Tiffany be there? So what's your thinking on that? We dropped a new episode of a new show on this channel.
I'll be honest with you, I never thought I would be on that show.
No.
I thought it was just like you three, like that was your show.
No. The idea would be it's the ComicPop show.
Oh,
like it's just that you've maintained 3 hosts is probably the best way to go. So
I always maintain
someone will
that.
swap in.
Yes, yeah. No, I think we've done shows with all 4 of us, and it's just hard.
Yeah,
because you want to give everybody a chance to like talk, but then the topic goes on for too long.
No, it's true. Not like this show.
That's been going for over an hour and a half.
Bear Farmer, this is not soft. Mole Man. This is not a soft land, but a savage one. Craven, you are not a smart ass, but a dumb one. I don't know. That moment made me laugh too much. Yeah. Good one.
I love him calling it a savage. I was like, thank you. I assumed it was the savage land.
But I needed some confirmation.
Yes. Jacob Montez saying, hello, I took a break from reading comics after the Bend to Superman era, but decided that was an error. But I decided to jump back in with All In. And after hearing Sal was writing on Terminator, it's a lot to catch up on, but watching you guys really helps.
Glad we could help, man.
Yeah,
Thank you,
absolutely.
Jake. Really
welcome back.
Yeah. What I deserve, I earn. Outside of the spider suit being Venom, do you think they may try to turn it into Ben Reilly? No, Ben Reilly is already in the Ultimate Universe and is already in Ultimate Spider-Man and has already been established as the ghost author of the articles that J. Jonah Jameson and Ben Reilly write for the paper.
Right. Well, Ben Parker.
Oh, yeah.
Cat Laura will defend retreats says, did you see Captain Planet comic announcement? I'm curious how that concept will be executed today. And also, who would get what ring among ComicPop?
Yes, David Pepos is writing the new Captain Planet series for Dynamite, and I'm excited to see it.
We had, ComicPop had a pitch.
We did.
For Captain Planet.
It's funny because actually I didn't even think to talk to Dynamite about it, but we had a pitch to the point where I talked to DC, who used to have the license. And I asked them about it, and they were like, we don't know. They were like, I think we might still have it. And they checked that for me, and they were like, we don't know. It was funny. It was one of those things where they were like, this is going back years.
Yeah.
This is not
this is not recent.
We didn't shake up things for David Peppo. It was just they came back to me and they were like, that was an interesting question, and it was something that no one internally had asked, and so we were actually actively investigating it because we need to know if we have it or not. So we don't know, and so maybe they did and they gave it up, or maybe they
Yeah.
didn't. Maybe it was one of those like things like it's a streaming service you forgot you were paying for.
Sure.
They were like, oh my god, we've been on auto renew for Captain Planet for the last 20 years, and we haven't put out any freaking Captain Planet comics. But yeah, now Dynamite has the license, and it'll be very different.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ben will be Fire, but I think because he's like Wheeler. I always liked Kwame's Earth power.
Sure, you're an Earthbender. I get that. What's Ethan?
Knowing Ethan, he'd probably be like, well, water is the most available element on Earth, and I could probably do more with it since it's 2 atoms, hydrogen and oxygen. So yeah, I think I'd go with water.
And I get the rest.
Wind isn't bad.
No, I'm not wind. Ben is wind.
No, you're fire. That's only Ben breaks wind.
And that's why he is that. I am fire.
Yeah, that's true. Big time. Tea Time 480. ComicPop is the best thing coming out of DC Rebirth. Thank you very much. Classic line.
Love that line. Silly Goose coming back saying, picked up a whole run of Hickman by Ennis. I hated the ugliness of the boys, but a friend kept recommending it, and I'm enjoying it. Have you read it?
Yeah, not the whole run, but I have read Hitman, and yes, it is very much it's Ennis building towards the boys. There is a edge and a cynicism and like a negativity there, but like his infusion of Tommy's hero worship on Superman and the way in which he builds his universe is like a lot more refreshing. It's probably because he's also working for the big 2.
Someone in the chat said I would be Hart. I can't be Hart because then I would go to local shelters and be like, but Sal, look, all these kittens love me.
Right. See?
Yes.
Hart. No, you are Hart. You're the heart of the channel in every way. Hart.
Come to me.
I'm like, stop using your heart.
No, make a pile on me.
Yeah. Matt D, I've also loved to see Fall Sunrise too. I understand it's unlikely anytime soon, but Tiffany has gotten me to love Doctor Strange.
Yay!
Currently waiting on my volume of Into Shambhala to see that art. That's right.
You're gonna love it.
It's out for sale right now.
Love it.
It's the Marvel Masterworks
Heck
book.
yeah.
Which, by the way, if you go to In Stock Trades, I believe it's up there and up for sale and on sale. I'm actually gonna grab mine now that I think about it. It's right here.
I was just gonna ask if we had it.
Yeah, it's Marvel Masterworks Doctor Strange Volume 11. That will be available.
I have to see how this is going to be printed. Look, no matter what, it is worth getting. But this book is going to be very differently formatted size-wise to what Into Shambhala was, but still worth having since it's so difficult to find.
Exactly.
Especially when people like me has more than one copy.
Uh-huh. Especially when someone like you gobbles up the book on a regular basis.
I have 2.
Yeah. All right, great.
And 2 is enough for anyone.
Is it?
Someone described that as me being Kitten Voltron.
Oh,
just having them like
just made up of kittens.
Mew, 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 mew. I want
like
this.
that.
I want this in my life.
That needs to be art.
I just want that to actually happen.
Yeah. So let's recommend some comics that are coming out this week that we think you should buy.
Sure. Ultimate X-Men number 11 is coming out this week. Peach Momoko.
Ninja Turtles number 6 is coming out. Hooray. This is a great series. Juan Ferrera's art is dope.
Amazing. Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu number 4. Bring it on.
Of course.
More Moon Knight, please. Apparently. One of my favorite characters of all time. What? No.
Yeah. Joshua Williamson and company are doing a Lex Luthor special for Superman. I'm going to read that.
I took a drink of water at the worst time I could have possibly done that.
It's true, yeah.
But here we are. I did this. I don't know what else I'm reading this week. So if you see something else.
Yeah, it's a pretty light week, honestly.
No, it can't be. I'm just missing things.
No, it can't be.
No. Now that I'm not like murdering myself. By the way, Hello Darkness. Let's talk about Hello Darkness really quickly. This is from Boom Studios. And
yes.
I have a reason to want to talk about this.
Okay.
I think I can make this work. I think I can do this. I think I can do this.
Uh-huh.
And then I did. Look at this. Let's talk about this book really quickly.
I can't believe it. I'm on the cover of a podcast.
Yes, that's right. There you are. You're doing it. This is a really cool idea. I have like the first issue of this, and I don't think I really put together what it was. I thought it was just going to be a bunch of short stories, but this is very similar to the thing that I've pitched before in the past. I'm not the inventor of this concept at all.
Well, but your name would be on it.
We were talking about like this, the idea of like having a book that's more like a manga, where like it's like a bunch of stories, like the magazines. Mm-hmm. That's what this is.
Oh.
Like there will be like
so it's like a Shonen Jump kind of thing.
It is very much like that, but like not every issue will have all the same ones, right? Like so some of them will be in there, but then others will be like once every other one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's not just a short story. There is like a a story, but
Yeah.
you're going to get it in a bunch of different issues.
Okay.
So I just feel like that's totally worth checking out.
I agree.
Is all. I just wanted to shout that out for people who like horror, because this is very horror based.
Yes.
There's a bunch of different artists and writers in here. And yeah, they're doing that here. And I was like, that's really, really cool. But it's been ongoing for 7 issues, which is for me like super neat.
Yes.
That they've done this. I have seen, yes, of course, other books have done this. I see you in the comments there, folks. But I'm just saying.
But look at those names.
This is so specific.
Yes.
To what I was asking about that I'm like, I wanted to mention it.
That's fair.
So anyway, that issue number 7 is coming out for that as well. I would have to go back now and read the rest of them because I haven't read any of them because
we do have at least one of them.
I have one. I definitely bought one of them because I could not get over how lovely the cover was. Freaking loved the cover of that. Let's see what else is coming out this week. There's this book I've been seeing for like a while now. I've been seeing this cover everywhere, and I guess the book is finally coming out. It's The Seasons by Rick Remender and Paul Azaceta.
Yeah.
So I might check that out. Horror, I love that.
Yup.
You know me, I love horror. So I might go and pick that one up. But it's just so funny because like my brain was like, didn't that already come out?
Yeah.
But it didn't yet.
Yeah, that's funny that you
because I've been seeing it so much all over the place.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Ed Brisson's Silverhawks is finally debuting. That's going to be exciting to see with George Kambadais doing art. It's going to be great looking.
Very cool. Very cool.
Maybe set in the same universe as Thundercats. You never know.
You never know. Who knows? I actually don't know. So I'm responding to what you're saying right now. I have no idea. They're doing a noir edition
of Batman: The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween. Yeah,
that's
black and white.
Fun. But that could be really cool.
Yeah,
I like when they do stuff like that.
Yeah,
that to me is like something I'm like, ooh, fun. I might check that out.
Maybe.
I don't know.
You know what you might also want to check out is Tiffany playing video games on Tuesdays and Wednesdays on youtube.com at ComicPop Plays or twitch.tv/ComicPop, where you've been playing Marvel Rivals for the better part of a month, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, they just added a new little like mini game thing because it's Chinese or Lunar New Year, depending on what you celebrate. Because I saw something today because like I tend to call it Lunar New Year, but like Lunar New Year is like all inclusive of different cultures of that. But Chinese New Year can be very specific. And so if someone is talking about Chinese New Year, don't correct them. Like, especially if they're of that culture, like if that is their culture and they're talking about what they do to celebrate Chinese New Year,
just I saw someone being
like, oh, actually, you should be calling it Lunar New Year. And it's like, that's their culture.
Right.
Like, let them decide to call it Chinese New Year because they have very specific things that they do for Chinese New Year. I don't know. Anyway, they're doing something for that, and it kind of reminded me of Lucio Ball, except you're not all playing Lucio. And I never played it before, and I will pat myself on the back that I actually scored almost every point for my team.
What?
Not knowing what I was doing. I also really messed up in the beginning, but I really carried at the end.
Yeah.
So come on by. We'll play some of that. We'll get on some teams. We'll watch Spider-Man thwip us off of the board.
Yes.
Because that has been the new move I've been seeing online. I haven't run into it in a game yet, but
yeah,
it's fun.
I saw that James and Mason over at Mr. Sunday are playing Marvel Rivals.
Oh, no way.
And I was like, oh, that'd be a fun collab. I'd like to see you play Marvel Rivals with
I don't know how
Mr. Sunday.
But they have like our hours are so different.
I know, but you are also a night owl, so it might work out.
I am a night owl. I do love
you could stream with them right before you go to work.
Yeah, I'll just get up really early. I'll be at my peak.
Yeah.
Peak game time for Tiffany is right in the morning. Right in the morning.
I don't know. You might kick ass. You're only fighting Aussies at that point.
I guess this is a really interesting concept for a book. I didn't know existed.
Well, tell them about it.
Oh, sorry. I'm listening at Hell Hunters #2, written by Philip Kennedy Johnson, or by Adam Gorham here. But it stars Nick Fury, Sergeant Nick Fury, Peggy Carter, the Soldier Supreme, and Ghost Rider 44.
Nice.
But it looks like
so it's
Wolverine's
like a
in it.
book.
Like it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting.
Okay. Hell Hunters. Of course, Marvel would never put any money behind the promotions for that book because it's not Amazing Spider-Man.
So Night Owl 3.
Yeah.
Get in my tiny car. It's the closest we're getting to Archie.
Yeah. Somebody asked what the best place is for people to learn how to write comics, essentially. And there are no real classes that you can take.
That's
Although
not true. You can take Scott Snyder's.
Scott Snyder is offering a class on his own system. So
Yeah.
if you check out Scott Snyder on Substack, I believe, or at the very least, you can just check out Scott Snyder. He's got a website that you can click on that will take you there. But he's doing an online class that offers how-to and great insights. But there's many books on the subject. You can read Writing for Comics by Peter David, or Words for Pictures by Brian Michael Bendis, and just a litany of other books as well. But once you can start there. Or you can find any resource by reaching out to your local comic book creator and asking them how they do it.
Also, there's plenty of opportunities. I think there are some like on like Skillshare and stuff that. Like you can go look there to see if anybody's done some classes. I have seen like, locally people will do stuff. Yeah, I would just definitely do a search around for that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, but the best way to do it, and it's the same way you read, it's the same way to learn how to write screenplays or novels, is to read. Read as many as you can. According to superstar artist Gavin Guidry, should be able to find older scripts available online to study. Absolutely, scripting is a art form, and it is so esoteric and hard to like nail down necessarily, because there's no standard practice in comic books to write a script. Like there's ideas and schools of thought, but there is no like definitive format like there is for like screenplays. So reading as many scripts as you can gives you an idea about what you find the most conducive to your style and developing your style. So yeah, reading scripts is the most effective way to do it. It's certainly how I learned how to write screenplays, was just by reading them constantly. But yeah, we want to thank you so much for hanging out with us, and thanks to our super chatters for sponsoring today's show. Thanks to the chat for being cool and kind with each other in the chat, and of course, thank you for joining this video with us on Mondays and liking the video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notifications, and joining us on patreon.com/ComicPop, or watching all the new videos that we have here on this channel. We just dropped a new show that may or may not continue. We'll see. With the ComicPop crew, which we are still working on a title for. Of course, we had Rob on the show just a week or so ago, so check out that episode as well. Not to be outdone, Glenn Greenberg, former editor at Marvel Comics, came by and chatted up a storm, giving us a fantastic insight into the process and how that whole worked out, and the doomed marriage of Peter Parker and Mary Jane, and how that may have been under the gun for a lot longer than you may have thought.
Wow.
But yeah, so much here on this channel to enjoy and consume. But not to be outdone, you should go to youtube.com/ComicPop. Check out back issues every Wednesday to see that show as well. And we just dropped a short on that channel today, so you can check that out as well. A deleted scene from a future episode. So little teaser to whet your appetite. But yeah, and of course, as I said earlier, make sure to watch Tiffany's Plays Fake Video Games Tuesdays and Wednesdays on youtube.com at ComicPop Plays or twitch.tv/ComicPop. Marvel Rivals, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody.
All right, bye.